Hello, hello, hello. Finally, we are in and ready to start this Q&A. Oh, what a crazy half an hour that was. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Apologies for the delay. We are here, as you can see. There's a couple of technical issues last minute, but we're finally here. Only took half an hour. It's good. It's all good. Yeah, as you can see today, we've got a house full of guests on today's live stream. And I am your feeling kind of festive host, Mods Sarnie, and I'm joined by the none other than the wonderful Mod Kieren, Mod Ed, and Mod Bruno. How is everyone doing? Mod Kieren, do you want to start?
I'm good. I mean, nearly 2 years of doing remote live streams, and it was a good run until this one with the technical leads. But hey, everyone in the chat who's like, "Ooh, small indie company can't run a stream." It's hard doing this stuff. Big up respect to the production guys. Switching it from home has not been easy, and this is the first time we've had this level, I think, of technical difficulties getting started. But hey, it's working now.
It's quite ironic that Ed's gone into the studio specifically for this stream, and yet we still have all these problems. Ed, you haven't been on in a while. How are you doing?
No, so I'm guessing I'm completely to blame. I think this is like only the second time I've been on since doing remote streams, and I came into the office especially, and everything broke, so I'm really sorry.
It's okay. To have you on, it's worth it, Ed. It's worth it. Don't worry. And finally, Bruno, how are you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. Being busy with recently the GE tax. Hope you guys are all enjoying that. Sorry that it's charging you money, but it's for the good of the economy in the game, so hopefully it's not too bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's been a mad one today, I think. Been quite hectic, but you know, it's all worked out in the end, I think, and hopefully the stream will be, you know, be the same. So cool. I think we're going to get into it. Just to give you a heads up, we're not going to show the play created content this week. I'm going to leave that to next week since we started late. But without further ado, we'll go through some announcements. So first up, we have ! game update. Game update this week has dropped, and it brings with it the Grand Exchange tax, and with it comes new item syncs. We've also added a feature to help prevent skull tricking in PvP. For those who may not be aware, we made an engine change this week, caused a couple of unintentional bugs. We're pleased to confirm that the issue with the items being created faster than normal, as well as NPC stacking issues, have been corrected. So apologies for the delay on that, and thank you for your patience and work on this. It was picked up pretty quickly, but yeah, it left you guys not skilling for a little while, so apologies to that. Next, we have Golden Gnomes. We would like to thank everyone who took time to vote in the Golden Gnomes so far, and we'd also like to remind you that the polls close tonight at midnight GMT, so make sure to get your nominations in while you can, and make sure you submit your favorite creators and streamers and all that jazz for a place in the nominations. And finally, Android beta. The Android beta has now closed. We'd like to thank everyone for participating, and we're planning to launch a recap blog for early next week to summarize the beta, including feedback that we've been reviewing from our playtesters, and that will give you a little insight on what we're doing going forward as well. As always, we have the lovely Mods Druid and Spear behind the scenes, and Mod Light taking questions from chat. So as always, if there's anything you'd like to ask the team, make sure to @OldSchoolRS. Now, I think with that out of the way, and all the delays that have happened, I think we should get straight on to the questions. So first off, we have from Some Spirit, will we see questlines like Fairy, Dwarf, Cave Goblin, etc. ever continue in Old School? The stories in these are super fun in my opinion, and I hate how long they've been cliffhangers in Old School.
I guess there's a short answer and the long answer. The nice easy short answer is yes. The long answer is that maybe I'm just reading too much into it. The way the question's worded, I sort of like get this impression that, and I've seen it sort of like reading through social media sometimes, that some players think like there's just some quest lines we don't want to continue, and like not at all. We want to continue every quest line. It's just there's so many of them, and you know we can only make quests so fast. So we have to like, I guess, very carefully pick which ones we're going to be going with next, with how many they are. But the good news, I guess, especially relevant to this question, is that there's plans next year to continue 3 storylines that haven't yet been continued in Old School. One of them we've already talked about, the Desert storyline with Beneath Cursed Sands. And then of the other 2, one's really exciting. I'm not going to talk about it just yet, because we're not quite at that point yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. But the other one is the Cave Goblin storyline. I think a lot of players probably already know that with the 2007 backup that Old School was built from, there was a near enough finished version of Land of the Goblins in it, and we've had a little look at it, and we've worked out that, yeah, we can extract that and put it into game. We're going to give it its usual sort of like polish pass that we've been giving other things where we've done ports recently, and we're going to be polling Land of the Goblins very soon as the next quest in the Goblin series, so hopefully that's a little bit of good news there. So we are slowly getting through them. It's just with how many quest lines there are, it's going to take some time.
Yes, thank you, Ed. We will be touching upon it in December's Gazette, so have a look out for that. I don't know if we can show the pictures, but if they don't come up, then we will include them in the Gazette anyway. But yeah, we did have some pictures to show you, but I don't think we're going to be able to at the moment. So just stay tuned for that Gazette. It should be next week. So
Question is Land of the Goblins going to see Mind Goblins come to the game?
I mean, we'll have
Well,
to
there's
leave that.
Kieren.
We'll have to leave. We'll have to leave that and wait and see, I suppose. Cool. The next question is from MPTRS. What are the team's thoughts on making an ability to toggle on and off the healing effect of the Blood Fury, same way we can toggle on and off the recoil effect, Ring of Suffering?
Ship it. Seems
Sounds
absolutely harmless.
There you go. Easy win. Easy win. We're going to get through these questions so quick today. This is good. Alright, awesome. The next question we have is from Frau. Can the gem bag be made to hold Topaz, Jade, and Opals too? They are gems too. Hashtag gem life matters.
Also seems reasonable. I don't know if there's any sort of like limits to that item, but yeah, I won't mind it.
Yeah, it seems silly that they can't.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. We'll put that for somewhere in the future, I hope. The next question we have is from Crotux. Thammaron's sceptre, hopefully I've said that right, trident effect is essential to making the item useful. At present, I don't think it's useful enough. Any chance we can get it before the Rev updates end?
Silence.
Any thoughts, Bruno?
There's your answer.
Just find it on you.
I mean, my answer on this is I don't know. It's something that we've also like talked about before. I've definitely talked about this on stream before of making the Thammaron sceptre better. It's one of those things. It's like, well, where do we fit it in compared to like the Trident of the Seas and the Sanguinary stuff and all that, and like how would make it good without making all the other ones useless. But yeah, I'm not sure. I know it's only really used in the wilderness, but still.
If it's not good enough for the purpose it's created for, we should look at it. It's kind of my perspective on it. I don't know it well enough to kind of give a good answer.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Maybe not one for the backlog just yet then. The next question we have is from Nano208. I'm sure we've answered something similar to this before, but can we get a red dragon boss? We've seen a boss version of each other chromatic dragon so far. Elvarg, Vorkath, KBD, and currently there is almost no reason to unlock the red dragon slayer task. Having a boss would at least give some reason to unlock that task and would flesh out the already underrepresented underrepresented red dragons?
Dragon Slayer 3 Ed.
Calm down. Don't, because people think that's a mystery questline I was on about earlier. With Dragon Slayer 2, did very intentionally go with like okay, so you had green in the first one. Okay, so this one gonna have Vorkath who's blue. So yeah, maybe the next one's red. I mean, I guess it depends if you count Galvek. He's kind of red. Is he even a dragon?
I was gonna say
though?
it's a bit generous to call Elvag the green dragon boss when it's like, not to ruin everyone's nostalgia. Elvag's at best a low-level quest boss. So I don't know
Whoa.
if that really counts compared to like KBD and Vorkath.
Did you read the story of Dragon Slayer 2? Elvag is very important.
Well, how do they die to me at level 40 then? That's what I'd like to say. But yeah, maybe in the future we'll have a red dragon boss. Definitely no reason not to. But yeah.
Where would you put it? Where would you put the red dragon boss? I'm trying to think where they would best situate.
Somewhere on the map, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably makes sense to look at one of the red dragon dungeons, I suppose.
Arthur's dungeon has quite a lot of red dragons, but that's also got Arachnis, so maybe just add a red dragon so you can have a red spider and a red dragon boss.
It'd be cool if it flew around the wilderness and landed like a world event sort of thing, like every hour, just whoomp, and then people could take it on, and it would go away. No one took it on. Awesome. All right. Next question we have occupying. Are we going to get more quests more often? I don't mean the size of Song of the Elves or Kingdom Divided. Back in the day, we had quests getting released often, even if they were just short ones. Not everything has to be meta after all. I think quests getting regularly added to the game could be a good way to keep things fresh without worrying about trying to balance boss loot tables. Or does the prospect of people temporarily losing access to their quest cape get in the way of quest creation?
I mean, I guess the last bit is very easy to address. No, definitely not. Like, I don't care if people lose their quest cape. Get good, noobs. Go get it back again. Like, that's what it's designed for. I mean, I guess the more serious part of the question. I'd love to do more quests. Like, we do like generally around like 3 or 4 a year, and yeah, compared to how many were getting released, sort of like back in 2006-07, that is a lot lower. And if we could, I would like love to just do quests, like nothing else, just every day come into work and just make more and more quests. But I think we learned earlier this year with Night of the Theatre what happens when we rush a quest out for the sake of hitting a number or something like that. Like, it's important to do them right, and while many of those quests from back in the day are absolutely amazing, for everyone that's amazing, there's also a rat catchers, so it's important to balance quality against the quantity. So I hope we get to do more quests. Probably not the same sort of numbers that were done back in the day. I mean, the other thing about quests back in the day, and I guess this feeds back into the question earlier about storylines, is that back then they were starting like a lot of storylines, and when you're starting a storyline, it's going to be a small quest. It's nice and easy to make. But now we're at the point where all those storylines require much bigger quests to continue them, and if we just keep adding small quests, we're not going to be able to continue those storylines, do justice to them. So, like, I think it's probably also important to make sure that we try and continue some of those storylines, even if that means sacrificing a few small quests in the process as well.
But I do think, as a result, we're probably doing too few small quests in the current scheme of things.
Definitely. Like, Twisted Tales kind of thing, I'd love to do more of those. Like, obviously we started them with Getting Ahead, and then we haven't really done one since. I'd have loved to have done one this year, but I think with Kingdom Divided, we were already doing a lot of stuff in Kieren, especially from a storytelling side, but hopefully next year there's room for a Twisted Tale or some other small quest, hopefully quite a few, ideally.
Yeah, Modzuko's made a very good point, though, in the chat, that the less quests Ed's allowed to make, the less of our favourite characters he can kill, so there is that upside.
I'll have you know that... I trying to think now of a quest that are planned for next year. I don't think any notable characters are dying in them. I think we might be safe. We might be safe
say,
for
probably
a
say
year.
that anyway.
Thank God no one's killing Kona. But also, you can't really kill off a good character in like a low-level quest. So just get Ed to do a load of twisted tails. That'd be great.
Don't. I'll find a way to kill Hades Casantius.
Good riddance.
He'll weave it somehow. He'll weave it into the main story, and then more characters will probably end up dying. That might be a bad idea.
Yeah, we did a poll a while back, didn't we? Should we remove Hades Casantius? And that failed, so we can't remove him. But we could kill him. Do that.
That's big brain. That's big brain. Alright, thank you for that. The next question we have is from Mr. G. Are there thoughts of expanding the low-level bosses available, base 60 to 70 combats? Personally, I feel like the low-level players have very limited options or gateways into bossing. Early game bosses which takes the basic mechanics from end game bosses would be widely appreciated expansion.
All right, I've got a whole ton I kind of want to say about bossing, and let me go away from the low-level combat thing for a second. Why do you do a boss? Right, simple question. Be it, why are you going to Theatre of Blood? Why are you going to kill Vorkath? Why are you going to kill Zulrah? Unless you're an
Loot.
Iron Man,
Loot.
there is one reason. Loot, exactly. So you might change up which one you want to go to based on the mood you're in or what sort of engagement you want. But at the end of it all, you're probably going to prioritize the one with the best loot. Like, you're going to look at GP per hour, right? So what's the point of adding more and more bosses to the game? Surely you're just going to make some of them redundant and so on. It's something we're thinking about. Because, like, let's say 10 years from now, we've got another 4 raids in the game and we're going to have 20 bosses. What's the point in half the bosses existing if the only thing you really care about is getting loot? You might want to differentiate and give yourself some, I might fancy Tob tonight, I might fancy Chambers of Xeric the next night, right? But that's purely from a perspective that I like doing each one. So, something I was giving thought to is like a level of untradeable rewards, right? Which is not really kind of been old school's design strategy when it comes to this sort of thing. But what if, you released a new raid and it has a bunch of rewards, but 1 or 2 of them are untradeable, in that you've got to try and it's almost something you have to then earn as a player. Now, that's top end. And I think that's something to think about. But this is how I come back to a lower level boss and think, how do you apply that? Because if you release a low level boss and the incentive is GP, high level farm it. Simple as that, right? It's very hard to make a mid-level boss competitive for a mid-level player in terms of the gold it produces without making it so good that high levels just come and farm it and it's really easy for them because it's not targeted at low level players. Reasonably, you get that problem. I mean, pets might affect that a little bit as well. Like Sarachnis certainly had people going for pets and getting in the way of other players. But I do think in terms of mapping out the journey, like if you think of a player starting an account and progressing into bossing in PVM, what is that journey? It is missing, right? That lower level bossing. You've got old bosses, maybe, Mole doesn't exactly count, really. There's no real reason to do Mole. The money's not that great. And then you've got to go, maybe KBD, it's in the wilderness, there's an off-putting factor there, but it's old. Again, old bosses. And you've got some of the earlier Slayer bosses coming in. And then you've got God Wars, which you can first get to, like, in a team. But there's a missing gap. There's even more of a missing gap when you think about team bosses. And I think Group Iron Man has kind of focused that a little bit in that, what do you do with your friends earlier in the game? I mean, even a new player who's not a Group Iron Man and you want to play with your friends, there's not that much content that you can do as a group early game. So I kind of like the idea to almost bring this all together. Imagine a boss that is sort of aimed at 60 to 70 combats. Maybe it's team-based. And the thing you get out of it is kind of an untradeable upgrade. So it's part of your journey then. It's something you actually want to seek to do. You're not going to go to it for money, because there's a ton of competitive money-making methods already. You want something that's going to upgrade you. And also even thinking about the gear, like so much gear. There's no offensive stats on armor at all until you get to like obviously Void kind of does, Torso and those kind of items. Armor's very lacking. You're on Rune for a good while, or Dragon until you get something decent. So imagine at 60 to 70 combat, you can go to a boss and you get an armor top and bottom that give you minor attack offensive bonuses or something like that. Then it's a point of a player's journey that they might actually think, I'm going to go and try and do that boss and get that upgrade and move forward. And you can do it as a group. That's kind of what I'm trying to come around to. Sorry for absolutely blubbing on, but I'm trying to sort of justify why I think the problems are and how I think that even applies even to a lower level boss that we can maybe do far better and make it an important feature in the game for players rather than just another trash boss to go and swamp kill for loot.
Very well answered. Balancing's hard, basically.
Yeah, thank you for that, Kieren. It was much appreciated. It was. Awesome. So the next question we have is from KnitCat99. When are you going to add plugins like the ones on the Steam client to the official client?
So, in reality, like the two distinct clients at this point. The Steam client is a C++ native client. The Java one isn't. So, in essence, many of them just don't work on the Java client. So, look, there's a long plan to kind of all of this that we need to talk more about in terms of what we're doing with the Steam client. We're trying to bring that up to scratch because the Steam players cannot access Java. All the players on Java can use RuneLite, so less of an issue there. Same for mobile. We need the new technology on mobile. Java's not going to be supported forever on iOS, particularly for us, and so we need the new client there. And obviously, we've just been doing the kind of Android beta as our kind of first getting that stuff out there onto mobile. So finally, you can go on a mobile and start having your agility obstacles highlighted and XP tracking on mobile. So that's kind of where we're at the minute. Obviously, we'll talk more in the future about what we want to do with the clients.
Awesome. Thank you, Kieren. Next question we have is from Drake in Josh. Do you have any plans on expanding Barrows? Maybe a new brother or something like Rise of the Six? Maybe Raids 4 in the Swamp? ?
I do
think
like
there might be
Rise of the
room
Six,
for,
so maybe
room
make it
for a new
something more
brother.
high level. Basically, yeah, maybe at some point.
Welcome to the awkwardness of the slight delay in when you're on these calls.
Yeah, so yes, maybe potentially at some point. Who knows? There you go. Right, the next question we have is from More Pandas. I'm definitely on board for that. In the blog post for the Summer Summit, you mentioned you wanted to move to half-yearly update live streams instead of one big yearly reveal at RuneFest. Are you planning anything for a Winter Summit soon? Short answer, no. We're not doing anything like a Winter Summer this year. As you can see, it's the 9th of December. There's going to be no sort of summit this year. And it will be touched on in the Gazette coming up. But there will be some sort of summit coming. But I will leave that to the Gazette so you can see what we're doing there. Because there'll be plenty of chunky updates in that. So
yeah, we want to be in a place where we can make solid announcements and give you good updates on the stuff we've already been working on and already announced.
Yeah, because that Summer Summit, I think it was felt in the team as well. Very hype. Everyone was very, very hyped doing it, and the reactions from those people watching was really good. So yeah, we definitely want to do another, but there won't be a quote-unquote Winter Summit. The next question we have is from Trencher. I'm feeling my hype for Leagues 3 drain away. Since we haven't heard a single piece of news about it, since it was postponed. Can we get some more information about Leagues 3 to whet our appetite? I mean, I can speak from a CM perspective that we've been doing and a social perspective. I've been doing some work behind the scenes, readying for some little campaigns and some little teasers here and there. So there'll be some stuff coming to social soon. It's nearly here, guys. Nearly here. So no, we've only got.
Oh, and man, like I've seen like the trailers that have been produced ready for this and everything. They are hype, and so I think you're all going to be kind of blown away by the production value and what's been made, let alone the actual game mode itself.
Yeah, trust me, there'll be plenty more stuff to reveal and showcase to you guys before you get your hands on Leagues 3. So do not worry about that. Cool. The next question is from Herpadu. Does the team have any thoughts on utilizing the ammo slot for more than just ammo/blessings in the future? This seems like an equipment slot that has a lot of potential for exciting rewards for new content.
It's a massive change to really push it further. If you remember, if you go all the way back to before Chambers of Xeric, we did make a pitch for putting more like effect items in that kind of slot. And it did not go down very well with the community, right? So we're a very different time now to pre-Chambers of Xeric. Maybe that's more approachable again now, but I do very much see it as more of a like utility sort of thing, things that give you some sort of specific buffs and uses, rather than let's just straight up give you more stats, right, and just make everyone effectively more powerful altogether. The other thing about that slot is it's not visible. Right, you don't put something in that slot and you can't see it on somebody's player character. So certainly in PvP scenarios, you wouldn't know what they've got on in that slot. So it's got to be pretty behind the scenes in terms of what it does. Like rings, you can't see either. Hence, we really can't make rings very powerful without doing something different.
Awesome, thank you, Kieren. The next question we have is from Killzone01. Can we please have the collection log added to the high scores?
I know we've had conversations about this. Do you know any more, Bruno?
I haven't heard anything about it. I assume it might be because the issues we have with the high scores with like lots of things going on with them. But we have recently lowered the kill count requirements for some of the bosses, so it's at least that.
Yeah, if we were to do this, we would want to be careful about whatever the minimum is in terms of getting on the high scores. We have had issues with the high scores in the past in terms of just the load on the high scores for when people are updating it. So it's one we'd have to go back and discuss and find out more information. But then in theory, we could give you more information next week.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. iPadao asks, could Iron Men use items on the collection log to mark them in, since it doesn't take into account items gathered pre-log?
We've been through this a bunch of times, and the answer is still no, because it just wouldn't really be fair to all the people who are Iron Men and also have their own items. Like, I got Twisted Bow before the collection log. Why can't I do this? It's not fair. Like, I know I might have sold a Twisted Bow and bought it back since then, but still kind of the same scenario, in my opinion. And also, it would be a lot of work to make sure that people have the right items, stuff like that. And yeah, it just feels like a can of worms not really worth opening. Kind of like having untrimmed skill capes after trimming the skill cape. It's just something we decided not to do.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruno. The next question, and the question touches upon it, that we've mentioned this before and it's come up in previous streams, but now that Group Iron Man is here, could we see resting at pubs concept? Another attempt to solve the new player run energy problem being pitched once more. I remember watching previous streams where run energy was the topic and the team really liked this idea. With that in mind, this would make it more useful and help out the run energy problem for early game.
All right, next big sort of rant or conversation. It's a big discussion topic.
It's pubs.
To say it lightly and quickly, yes, right? There's nothing wrong with adding, run restoring faster in pubs. We can make it restore incredibly fast or even instantly if you're stuck in the pub for a little bit, right? The thing that gets me is it doesn't solve the problem. it maybe is a slight help, but it's like putting a tiny plaster over, you know, a broken arm. Like, it might be, you know, it might make things a little bit more cozy, but it isn't going to solve the issue. If you're a level 1 player and your run runs out, which it does very quickly, how long does it take to restore back to 100? Let's say you're anywhere in the game, right? The pubs aren't everywhere. They're sometimes in cities. But often when you're in a city, you're probably not doing too much running. It takes, like, it's a long time. Like, people in the chat, you know, I think it's around 10, 12 minutes or so. That's ridiculous. If I think of any other game that has stamina systems, you know, I kind of imagine a system that it slowly drains, and then when you stop for a few seconds, it goes like back up to full. In my head, I'm thinking about Breath of the Wild there, but that's the extreme. That's kind of like maybe what modern games might do or look at. But it's incredibly frustrating. And Group Iron Man, obviously, everyone's kind of re-experienced this again and seeing what it's like. We need to improve the restore rate, for one. If you're stood still, it really should be restoring faster. But out of anything we do, agility still needs to serve a purpose, graceful still needs to serve a purpose, stamina pots still need to serve a purpose, and so do energy pots to a lesser degree. I've also considered maybe super energies or even energy pots should be like a weak stamina rather than here's 10% of your energy, it's gone in 4 milliseconds. It's crazy, right? Especially when you're level 1, you restore 10% with a potion and it's gone instantly. So it's just generally, unless you're high agility or in graceful, it is really punishing. I wouldn't mind the case where, like, let's say the top end, you're 99 agility, you're in graceful, and you drink a stamina, that your run just simply doesn't go down. Maybe that's how we balance it. But I would like to have restore rate be faster, drain rate be the biggest thing that's affected by your agility, graceful, and pots and so on. So a level 1 can't run for very long, but you can still restore it pretty fast. At level 99, you can run for a long, long time. You still have it restore faster once you do run out. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it in my head, but for me, this is a big problem on the game. We've been very, very conservative with agility. You know, graceful and stamina were the most powerful thing added a long time ago. And then there's the other problem that people just wear graceful absolutely everywhere because the game's awful to walk around without it. And even with graceful, you pretty much need a stamina still to do anything. So that's what I'm looking at and trying to say, how can we improve that? People want cosmetics on. They serve a purpose then. But pretty much any skilling activity where you're not stood still, you're going to have to wear graceful. So even at the top end, I think this is a problem. It's a problem for new players too, in that you literally, you know, if you're running to Varrock from Lumbridge, you get to the bridge, and you're probably pretty much running out, right? It's crazy. So I want to kind of look at rebalancing it. It's a big complex conversation to really try and work it out and make sure it's right. Because I don't want to undermine agility. It's important. It's awesome that gets you and lets you run longer. But leave it in a place where it's not so frustrating. And graceful isn't such a requirement in everything you do. Maybe it's a requirement if you're running a lot. If you're not running much, it's a bit much to make it required. Anyway, sorry, rant over. But pubs, yes, they could be a little bit of the solution. I just don't think it solves the problem.
No, I think you're 100% right, Kieren. It would be like, again, as you said, even though I don't think it's effective at all putting a plaster on a broken arm, but yeah, it's it would probably be like, oh, this is cool for a little bit, and then after a while, it would probably be like, well, still hasn't fixed the problem, so you know, so what's the point? But yeah, I think there's a bigger thing around that. Awesome. I know because Ed is in the office, I know he's not got too long left, so I'm gonna have to pick a couple of questions.
That's very honest. He's not got too long left. Just gonna see someone walk behind me, just wheel the chair away with me still in it.
I was gonna say the sword is
hello.
gone. It's normally there. Okay, so
Did Mods
I'm
Bruno
gonna.
say we had the pictures now? Or the quest?
We do have some pictures, I think.
Hey, I think we're gonna chuck them up then, are we? Mod Spear. Hey, there we go. There we go.
There we go. So, yeah, for anyone who remembers all the way back when Land of the Goblins came out, this is quite possibly the greatest quest for old school. Well, not old school, just RuneScape, wasn't it? But RuneScape ever saw, because it finally lets you wear Goblin mail. I think we have another picture as well that just properly shows that off. There you go. Look at that. Game changer.
The forbidden armor.
And of course,
Want
you
it
can
now.
wear it in every different colour for maximum
Wow.
fashionscape.
This is all I've
That's some
waited for
crazy
ever
drip.
since I've started. Yeah, ever since I've started working here, it's the only thing I wanted. I'm happy now. I'm happy.
And people love Zanuck, right? Any quest with Zanuck in it.
Yeah, and just to confirm, like these images we're looking at here, these aren't like ones from like back in 2007. These are from the Land of the Goblins that we've pulled out from the backup and have tidied up ourselves. So this is how it would look in old school.
So hyped. So hyped. It's my like favorite quest line that I want to see continued. So hyped to see this next bit come.
Yeah, and
old
the really
school,
nice
which is
thing
good.
about this is that there's still 2 more quests. So we do Land of the Goblins, and you know, it's exciting to bring back that nostalgic quest that's very iconic because of you getting to find whoever Goblin armor. But obviously, it's something that people have seen before. But that there's still 1 more quest after it, so we still have room to take it in a unique direction for old school as well. So yeah, it should be really nice to get us a step closer to that finale.
I'm not gonna lie, Ed. I'm worried. I'm worried. If you're in charge of these quests, I'm very worried. All right, I'm gonna just pick a couple of questions. I'll do this next one, and then I'm gonna go for like 2 chat questions. So the next question we have is from Night Echo 12. What content or areas of the game do you guys want to work on in the future? Not necessarily new content, but revamping or improving existing content as well.
Go on, Ed, you can go first.
I kind of actually already answered this earlier when I think I was answering one of the other questions. I said I'd happily like come into work every day and just do quests. And anyone watching who knows me will be like, "Well, yeah, that's no bloody surprise, is it? This idiot loves quests." But yeah, like I just want to see more quests in game. Like I think most of the quests we've done in old school are great. So I'm just going to ignore Night of a Theatre. Let's forget that shit show ever occurred. Apart from that, all the quests we've done are great. I'd like to keep doing the quests to that quality. I'd like to hopefully do more of them. I think in particular, I mean, we've already just talked about Goblins, so that's a quest line I want to finish, but also I really want to do that Mayaki finale. Got that design sat there for it with your boy Lord Draken. There's loads of others as well, like Fairy Tale. I've got a cool picture of Fairy Tale that's been floating around as well. And of course, there's the secret one that I spoke about earlier. That'll be good.
Ooh,
Excited
yeah.
for that. No spoilers.
I would love to do, like, I think back to, I've worked on some awesome stuff, right? I'm obviously, Inferno is like one of the things I'm most proud of, obviously, working on. It's kind of what, you know, people know me for. But I actually think one of the best things we had in the game was the Kepos Lowlands release. Like, it's the only time I think we've really done sort of a land expansion and really done it well. Obviously, we did the originals there, and we've done some awesome stuff to retcon and sort of fix what it was. But Kepos was absolutely incredible when I think back to it now, and you think about the impact it's even still had on the game. Like, that update, multiple quests, a huge new area and land mapped out, of course, a new Slayer Master, a few new Slayer creatures, a Slayer boss, a whole farming guild with a ton of new crops, a farming guild boss. There was aerial fishing, and I think there was that new dungeon with lizardmen shamans in to fight. Like, oh my god, that update had a lot of content, and I think it really was done exquisitely well. Like, it looked amazing, everything felt pretty good. I think probably the missing thing was drakes and regular hydras and worms. That didn't necessarily hit the mark in terms of new Slayer creatures, but that's the kind of stuff I'd love to do more of, right? And I kind of underlying it all. What is it? More RuneScape is kind of what I call it, right? It's just a new land. It's a new land. There's new stories. There's new content there. That's kind of what I see it, and you get a bit of everything. But I kind of look back like, oh my god, it's amazing how much stuff we made, and in the kind of one project.
There's still some black patches on that world map to fill. Got a bit of desert left there. Kingdom of Valamor. I mean, people will be like, "What? Wait, what? Why didn't Ed say Valamor earlier?" Like when I talk about Myaki and stuff. Obviously, like Kingdom Divided, following on from that quest. But there's others as well. There's the Eastern Lands, the frozen Northern Lands of Acheron. There's even rumours of an underwater city floating around somewhere.
Cryptic as always, Ed. Bruno.
Problem is because I said that there's a secret quest coming. Everyone's now going to be like reading so cleverly. Everyone says like, oh, he said underwater city. It's not an underwater city, or is it?
We'll never know. As for me, I don't know. I don't really have like a concrete thing I really want to like work on basically. But yeah, I agree with Kieren. Kieren as general area is pretty cool. I'd like to continue working on that, and yeah, Valamor will be awesome. Dwarves will be fun. I remember doing the Dwarf series in RuneScape, and that was really fun. So maybe something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, Dwarves is definitely another one that's up there for me. So, but who knows? Who knows what the secret is? Awesome. We will go on right quickly. Two chat questions. First is from Yin Yan's Barn. Are there any plans for Runecrafting experience boosting set? It's infamously slow, and was curious if we could get a set for Runecrafting like Angler for fishing or Zealot for prayer. Zealot for prayer. There you go.
Well, you'll remember we talked a little while ago in the Gazette about a Runecrafting update. At the time, we called Guardians of Gielinor in the Gazette. So, who knows? Not going to say any more, but maybe that's the right time to look at that kind of thing.
Thank you, Kieren. The final one, the final question. There you go. We got there in the end. What are your thoughts on making a rainbow recolor for the Crystal Crown if you buy all extra bank space? Would fit the theme of a money sink idea.
I think they look really weird. And also kind of like
Bruno
random.
sold it to me. Do it. Weird and random.
Why? Right,
Ship
what
it.
if I do it on like a level 3 account? Like, well, how would they even get to Prifddinas to get the crown? Or will it not require like a crown at all? It just randomly looks the same as this Prifddinas crown.
I'm with Ed. The weirder, the better. Put it in there. Let me wear it with my cursed banana and my bunny feet. And I'm good to go. Awesome.
But yeah, it might be cool to have like a random kind of useless cosmetic if someone does decide to go ahead and spend like 800 mil on all the bank slots. It's a big waste, but sure, go ahead.
Maybe we have a wearable golden sink. You need to craft it with the items as well.
Have we seen the stats yet on how many people have bought bank spaces and whatnot?
No, I'm sure we'll have like a
so.
rundown. I'm sure we'll have a rundown of like another data build stream at some point next year. So, we'll have all those features. Awesome. All right. With that being said, I'm just going to quickly run through the announcements again, and then we will wrap up the stream. Cool. So, exclamation mark game update. The game update this week has dropped. It brings with it the Grand Exchange tax, and that comes with new item sinks. We've also added a new feature to help prevent skull tricking in PvP. For those who may not be aware, we made an engine change this week that caused a couple of unintentional bugs. We're pleased to confirm that the issue with the items being created faster than normal, as well as NPC stacking issues, have now been corrected. So again, thank you for your patience as we worked on this. !Golden Gnomes. We would like to thank everyone who took the time to vote in the Golden Gnomes so far, and also to remind you that the polls close tonight at midnight GMT time. So make sure you get your nominations in now for your favourites to be featured on the nominations. And finally, Android beta. The Android beta has now closed. So thank you to everyone who participated in that. We're planning to release a recap vlog for early next week to summarise the beta, including feedback that we've been reviewing and a little bit about the future of the mobile experience. That is everything. Any last words from anyone before we say goodbye?
Get hyped for Land of the Goblins, and thanks for listening to my rant sessions.
Get hyped for next week as well. It's a good update. Without leaking anything.
It is. It is. Final update of the year, I believe, next week, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I wonder what it is.
I wonder. Yeah, so that update, just for your guys' information, will be on Thursday again. Normal time of 11:30 GMT. So it won't be on Wednesday. But yeah, last game update of the year. Awesome, yeah. That has been it. Thank you to Mods Kieren, Mod Ed, Mod Bruno, and also thank you to those behind the scenes, Mod Spear, Druid, and Light. I've been your host, Mod Sarnie. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, we did it. We got there in the end. Awesome. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.
See you all later.
Cheers.